After the age of 60, adults can lose up to 3 to 5% of their muscle strength every single year, especially in the legs. In fact, research published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle shows that muscle mass can decline by around 3 to 8% per decade after age 60 if it isn't actively maintained. And the surprising part? Most of that loss doesn't happen during the day. It happens overnight while you're asleep. So what's going wrong? Most people assume it's just age. This is what getting older feels like, they tell themselves. And they push through it. Or worse, they stop moving altogether because they think their body is simply past the point of recovery. But here's what most people don't realize. Exercise is only half the equation. The other half happens while you're asleep. When you work your muscles during the day, you're actually creating tiny tears in the muscle tissue. That sounds alarming, but it's completely normal. It's how muscles grow stronger. The real repair work, though, that happens at night. While you sleep, your body releases growth hormones, rebuilds those muscle fibers, and restores your strength for the next day. After 60, that nighttime repair process slows down. Your body doesn't recover the way it used to. So, unless you actively support that recovery window, you're essentially leaving your legs weaker every single morning than they could be. Why legs get weaker overnight after 60? To understand why this works, you first need to know what's happening inside your legs while you sleep. After the age of 60, the body naturally starts losing muscle faster than it can rebuild it. Doctors call this sarcopenia, but the idea is simple. Your muscles slowly shrink over time, especially in the legs. According to the National Institute on Aging, age-related muscle loss can begin as early as your 50s and accelerates after 60 if muscles aren't regularly activated. Now here's where sleep comes into the picture. When you lie down at night, your circulation naturally slows. That's normal. But for legs specifically, the furthest point from your heart, that slowdown in blood flow can be significant. Less circulation means less oxygen reaching the muscle tissue. Less of the nutrients your legs need to repair and rebuild overnight actually get delivered where they're needed most. At the same time, your joints begin to stiffen. When your legs stay still for 6, 7, 8 hours, the fluid that cushions your joints has less reason to move around, so it settles. And by the time morning comes, those joints feel locked, stiff, almost reluctant to cooperate. Then add one more layer to this. When your legs stay still for hours during sleep, the muscles become less active and slower to respond by morning. And certain bedtime habits can make all of this significantly worse. Sitting in a reclined position for hours before sleep, going to bed dehydrated, skipping any kind of gentle movement in the evening. These things don't seem dangerous in the moment, but over weeks and months, they quietly deepen the recovery gap. This process is not irreversible. The body, even after 60, responds to the right signals. And research increasingly shows that what you do in the hour before bed can actually change the quality of overnight muscle recovery. You can't stop the clack, but you can work with it. And that starts with giving your legs the right signals before bed. The 5-minute night routine that protects your legs. So what does the solution actually look like? This is where physical therapists have something genuinely useful to share. Over time, physical therapists noticed something simple. Seniors who did a little gentle movement before bed often woke up feeling less stiff and more steady. Not an intense workout, not a complicated program that takes willpower to stick to. Just a short, deliberate sequence of gentle movements done in the evening, ideally before you get into bed, designed to do one specific thing. Send the right signals to your legs before your body enters its overnight repair window. You're not doing the repair work yourself. You're simply helping your body do it better overnight. The routine takes about 5 minutes. It targets the main things that break down overnight: circulation, joint mobility, muscle activation, and recovery positioning. The first step focuses on circulation activation, gently encouraging blood flow back through the legs before you lie down for hours.
The second targets ankle mobility, one of the most overlooked factors in senior balance and morning stability. The third engages the calf muscles, small movements that have an outsized impact on overnight leg recovery. The fourth activates the thigh muscles, the foundation of standing strength and fall prevention. And the fifth is something most people have never considered, a simple sleep positioning adjustment that supports your legs through the night and reduces the stiffness you feel by morning. But here's the surprising part. One of these 5 steps is the one physical therapists say most seniors skip, and it's often the biggest reason their legs feel weak in the morning. And for many people, it's the difference between waking up stiff and waking up steady. Imagine waking up tomorrow and swinging your legs out of bed, feeling steady instead of stiff. That's exactly what these next 5 minutes are designed to help create. Step 1 is what physical therapists call a circulation reset. Before bed, spend 60 seconds addressing one of the biggest overnight problems your legs face: poor circulation. If your legs ever feel heavy or slightly swollen in the evening, that's often because blood and fluid have pooled in the lower legs during the day. And if you go straight to bed like that, overnight recovery becomes less efficient. So the first movement is simple. Sit on the edge of your bed or in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, and then begin slowly pumping your feet, pressing your toes down toward the floor, then lifting them back up toward your shins. Down and up, slow and controlled. About 1 pump per second. Here's why it matters. Your calf muscles do more than help you walk. They're often called the body's second heart. Every time your calf contracts, it squeezes the veins in your lower leg and pushes blood back up toward your heart. Researchers at the University of Houston have even described the calf muscle as a peripheral heart because of its important role in helping circulate blood from the legs back to the heart. This simple pumping motion activates a built-in circulation system most people ignore before bed. 60 seconds of this movement can meaningfully improve oxygen delivery to the muscle tissue in your legs right before your body enters the phase where it does its most important repair work. It's gentle, safe, and takes just 1 minute. And once you've completed that 60 seconds, your legs are already better prepared for what comes next. Step 2, the ankle strength signal. Now, here's something that surprises most people when they first hear it. The majority of falls in older adults don't begin at the knees. They don't begin at the hips. They begin at the ankles. In fact, according to the National Institute on Aging, about 1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 experiences a fall each year, and reduced ankle stability is one of the key factors that increases that risk. When you feel unsteady, stepping off a curb, walking on uneven ground, or getting up quickly, the ankle is often what catches you or fails you first. It's the body's first line of defense against a stumble. And yet, it's almost never the thing people focus on when they think about staying strong and stable. Here's the problem. Ankle mobility is one of the first things to quietly decline after 60. The small stabilizing muscles around the ankle joint weaken gradually, so gradually that most people don't notice until the moment they really need those muscles and find them lacking. When ankle stability drops, the knees and hips compensate, and your whole foundation becomes less secure. So step 2 targets this directly, and again, it could not be simpler. Remaining seated, lift one foot slightly off the floor and begin drawing slow circles with your ankle. Clockwise for about 15 seconds, then counterclockwise for another 15. Then switch to the other foot and repeat. If circles feel uncomfortable, you can simply flex the foot forward and back instead. The goal is the same. What you're doing here is sending a direct activation signal to all those small stabilizing muscles around the ankle joint. You're reminding them to stay engaged. You're maintaining the range of motion that keeps your reaction time sharp when your balance is suddenly challenged. Physical therapists emphasize ankle work because its benefits go beyond the ankle itself. Stronger, more mobile ankles mean better balance response. Better balance response means fewer stumbles, And fewer stumbles means the kind of independence that lets you keep living life entirely on your own terms. 1 minute on both ankles each evening. Quick question for you. Do your legs usually feel more stiff in the morning or later in the evening? Let us know in the comments.
Here's something surprising. When seniors lose balance, many people blame the knees or hips. But in many cases, it's actually the calf muscles. That makes step 3 one of the most important parts of this routine. Here's why. Every single step you take relies on what movement specialists call push-off power, the moment your back foot leaves the ground and propels you forward. That motion is driven almost entirely by the calf muscles. When calf strength is good, your stride is confident and controlled. When calf strength fades, your steps get shorter, slower, and less stable. And shorter, slower steps are directly linked to a higher risk of tripping and falling. In fact, research published in the Journal of Gerontology has found that reduced calf muscle strength is strongly associated with a higher risk of falls and slower walking speed in older adults. And here's what makes the calf unique compared to other muscles in the leg. Because of its role in circulation, remember, it functions as that second heart, it also has a direct impact on how well your entire lower leg recovers overnight. A calf that's been properly activated before sleep is a calf that's primed to receive nutrients, flush out waste products, and rebuild during the hours you're resting. So step 3 is a calf raise, and you can do this seated or standing depending on your comfort level. If standing, hold the back of a sturdy chair for support. Rise slowly onto your toes. Hold for just a moment at the top, then lower back down with control. Aim for 10 to 15 repetitions, slow and deliberate, not rushed. If seated, simply press down through the balls of your feet, lifting your heels off the floor, then lower them back down. Same controlled pace, same number of repetitions. What you're feeling during that movement, that gentle burn, that sense of engagement, is your calf muscle waking up, contracting fully, and signaling to your body that this tissue needs attention tonight. You're telling your body, these muscles were active, prioritize them. And by morning, the difference in how your legs feel when you first stand up can be remarkable. Step 4, the forgotten thigh muscle exercise. Now we reach what many physical therapists consider the most important step of the entire routine. It targets a muscle most seniors don't think about until standing up, climbing stairs, or knee pain starts getting harder to manage. That muscle is the quadriceps, the large muscle group running along the front of your thigh. Here's the reality. After 60, the quadriceps weaken faster than almost any other muscle in the body. Faster than the arms, faster than the core we just talked about. Research published in the Journal of Applied Physiology has shown that adults can lose significant strength in the quadriceps with age, making it one of the muscle groups most affected by age-related muscle decline. And because these muscles sit at the very center of your functional strength, the strength you need for standing, sitting, climbing, walking, and maintaining your balance under pressure, their decline has an outsized effect on daily independence. Getting up from a low couch, stepping up a curb, climbing a flight of stairs, lowering yourself safely onto a chair without dropping down, every one of those movements depends heavily on your quadriceps being strong and responsive. When they're not, the knees take on excess strain trying to compensate. And that's when knee pain, instability, and that frightening feeling of your legs simply not cooperating begins to set in. So step 4 addresses this directly, and like everything in this routine, it's gentle enough for anyone. Sitting in your chair or on the edge of the bed, slowly straighten one leg out in front of you until it's fully extended. Hold that position for 5 to 10 seconds. You should feel the front of your thigh tighten and engage. Then lower it back down slowly and repeat on the other side. Aim for 8 to 10 repetitions on each leg.
That sustained hold is the key. It's not about speed or repetition count. It's about fully activating the muscle fiber, signaling engagement, and waking up tissue that may have been largely inactive for hours. Done consistently, this movement helps preserve the strength that keeps you standing tall and moving freely. The bed position trick that strengthens legs overnight. Now here's the step almost nobody talks about, because everything we've covered so far has been about what you do before sleep. This final step is about what happens while you sleep, and it might be the simplest, most effortless thing you can do for your legs, because once you set it up, your body does all the work on its own. Most seniors sleep with their legs flat on the mattress or slightly bent, and while that feels perfectly comfortable, it's actually one of the least helpful positions for overnight leg recovery. Here's why. When your legs lie flat, gravity isn't working in your favor. Fluid that's built up throughout the day, in the ankles, the calves, the lower legs, has nowhere to drain. It simply sits there through the night, contributing to that heaviness and puffiness so many people notice by morning. The solution is remarkably simple. Before you settle in for sleep, place a pillow or two, depending on your comfort, beneath your calves, not under your knees, beneath the calves specifically, so that your lower legs are gently elevated and your heels rest comfortably without pressure. This slight elevation, even just a few inches, works with gravity instead of against it. Fluid drains more easily back toward the core. Circulation improves through the lower leg. The muscle tissue receives better oxygen and nutrient delivery during the exact hours when your body is actively trying to rebuild and recover. Circulation specialists at the Cleveland Clinic also recommend gentle leg elevation during rest to help reduce swelling and improve blood flow in the lower legs. Physical therapists frequently recommend this positioning technique during recovery from leg injuries and surgeries, but the benefits apply just as powerfully to everyday aging, to anyone whose legs feel swollen, stiff, or slow to cooperate in the morning. You just have to sleep slightly differently. And that one small adjustment, combined with the 4 movements you've already done, completes a routine that works for your legs all night long, even while you're completely unconscious. The one night habit that makes legs weaker. Knowing what to do is only half the picture. You also need to know what to stop doing. And there are a handful of common evening habits that are quietly working against everything your legs need to recover overnight. Sitting for long, unbroken stretches in the hours before bed, in a recliner, on the couch, watching television. Extended stillness in the evening dramatically reduces circulation to the legs right before the body enters its recovery window. Research published in the Annals of Internal Medicine has shown that prolonged sitting can significantly reduce blood flow and muscle activity in the lower body. It's essentially the worst preparation possible for overnight muscle repair. Then there's late-night snacking, specifically foods high in sugar or refined carbohydrates, eaten close to bedtime. These cause a spike in blood sugar that actively interferes with the growth hormone release your body depends on for overnight muscle rebuilding. That harmless treat can disrupt one of your body's most important nightly processes. Dehydration is another silent problem. Muscles are roughly 70% water. When you're even mildly dehydrated going to sleep, the repair process slows. Waste products that should be flushed from muscle tissue linger. Recovery becomes less efficient, and morning stiffness gets worse. And of course, skipping movement altogether before bed. After everything we've covered, you now know exactly what that costs your legs overnight. The good news is that every single one of these habits is fixable tonight, without any special equipment, expense, or dramatic lifestyle change. Small corrections and consistent evenings can make a real difference. Which brings us to the question most people are wondering by this point. How quickly can you actually expect to feel a difference? What actually happens when you commit to this routine consistently? So what actually happens when you commit to this routine consistently? Within the first week, most people notice their mornings feel slightly different, less stiffness when they first stand, a little more steadiness in those first few steps. By the end of the second week, that improvement tends to deepen. Standing from a chair feels less of an effort. Walking feels more controlled and confident. And by 30 nights in, many seniors report something that goes beyond the physical. It's a feeling of trust in their own legs again. The quiet confidence of knowing their body is working with them, not against them. Here's what physical therapists consistently emphasize about routines like this one. Intensity matters far less than consistency. Research from Harvard Medical School has also shown that small amounts of regular daily movement can significantly improve mobility, balance, and muscle function in older adults. 5 gentle minutes every evening will always outperform an occasional intense effort.